All right, let's just jump right in. I want you to forget everything you think you know about war. We're not talking about armies or nations or weapons. We are about to break down a conflict that is truly eternal. A war governed not by strategy, but by the cold, hard, unbreakable laws of philosophy itself. You know this story, right? It's the oldest one in the book. Light versus dark. Good versus evil. It's the engine that drives basically every myth we've ever told ourselves, from ancient scriptures all the way to modern comic books. It's a fundamental struggle. But here is where it gets wild. What if the devil wasn't some random challenger who showed up one day? What if the god had to create their opposite simply so they could exist? What if the shadow was a required component, baked into the very source code of reality? That's the mind-bending premise we're diving into. So this entire endless conflict, which is known as the dialectic of the abyss, it's not random. It's an architectural blueprint, and it's built on the ideas of this German philosopher, Johann Gottlieb Fichte. See, in this reality, his doctrine of scientific knowledge isn't just some dusty old theory. It's the operating system. The battle lines aren't on a map. They are hard-coded by the rules of pure logic. So where did it all start? Well, it kicked off with one single universe-defining act. A being named Glaucus did something that no one had ever done before. He asserted his own absolute consciousness. He declared, "I am." What that really means is that Glaucus basically willed himself into being the center of everything. Through this incredible power called intellectual intuition, he didn't just stumble upon reality, he created it just by thinking it. Imagine the universe is a totally blank page, and his consciousness was the first word ever written. He said, "I am," and poof, the entire cosmos had to arrange itself around that single, undeniable fact. But there was a catch. Of course there was. And this right here, this is the key to everything. According to this philosophical logic, a consciousness can't know itself in a total vacuum. To understand what you are, you have to run into something that you are not. It's like you can't know how strong you are until you push against a wall. That resistance, that cosmic pushback, has a name, the Anstoß, the check. It's an unavoidable law of existence. And so, the universe had no choice but to respond. Glaucus's absolute, world-creating yes to his own existence, it mandated an equal and opposite no. And that no, that non-I, became the Mephistophelian shadow, a being of pure negation brought into existence for one single purpose: to give Glaucus's ego a wall to push against. After all, you can't be a self without an other. Now, this conflict isn't just some chaotic cosmic brawl. Oh no, it is meticulously governed by three specific, unchangeable metaphysical laws. And these aren't guidelines. They are the fundamental physics of this place, ensuring a perfect, unbreakable, eternal stalemate. Okay, let's run through them. First, you've got reciprocal assertion. It's basically Newton's third law, but for philosophy. For every action of creation Glaucus makes, the shadow generates an equal and opposite reaction of unmaking. Second, elemental transmutation. This means anytime Glaucus builds something ordered and beautiful, the shadow is right there to swallow it and turn it back into primordial chaos. And finally, the law of final entropy. This is the big one. It's the ultimate guarantee that no matter what, all structure, everything, is destined to dissolve back into nothing. It's a brilliant, ruthless system that ensures no one ever wins. Now, you're probably sitting there thinking, okay, abstract laws, I get it. But how does that actually work? How do these ideas become real, physical things? Well, the answer is kind of terrifying. They get written directly into the DNA of the fighters. The process for this is called chemoda. And you gotta understand, this is not a magic word you yell out. It's way deeper than that. Think of it as a silent, instantaneous biological upgrade, or downgrade. It rewrites a being's very atoms to perfectly match their role in this cosmic drama. It's what makes the philosophical brutally, undeniably physical. And you can see the result right here. It's just perfect symmetry. Glaucus's chemoda turns his body into a living, crystalline computer. He literally uses water as his spellbook, freezing it for stasis, turning it to vapor to be everywhere at once. And then you have the shadow. Its chemoda is the polar opposite, a scream that literally rips a hole in reality and sucks light into a singularity. Its power source, hydronihilism, isn't just water. It's a fourth state of matter, a necrotic acid that just erases things from existence.
So we've got this perfect binary system, right? A yes and a no, locked in a flawless, eternal dance. It's balanced, it's logical. But what happens when perfect logic has an accident? What happens when the system produces a bug?
Because, and this is the big twist, the system is not perfect. In that constant clash, in that grinding of cosmic gears, something new was born. Something that doesn't follow the rules. An unforeseen consequence. A third player who breaks the whole game. And here he is, the captain from the abyss. He wasn't created out of philosophical necessity. He was born from the accidental runoff of their war. He's not Team Thesis or Team Antithesis. He's a parasite, a water vampire running on his own twisted logic, nihilistic consumption. He doesn't want to create order or spread chaos. He just wants to drink. He sees all life, everything, as just water waiting to be stolen. He is the system's error message, and he's a threat to both sides because he's consuming the very fuel they're fighting over. Okay, so let's put it all together. You've got the I. You've got the necessary non-I. You have the unbreakable laws that lock them together. And you have the parasite that was born from their endless war. All of this leads to one inevitable state of being, the Two Fold Atlantis. And that's what it is, in the end, a perfect deadlock. A reality where divine creation can never ever win, because it's forever chained to the absolute nothingness it was forced to create just so it could know itself. It's a beautiful, tragic, inescapable trap. Which really brings us to the most important takeaway from all of this. The more power Glaucus asserts, the stronger his yes echoes through reality, the louder the shadow's no becomes in response. It's an arms race that can't be won. And even worse, the more they fight, the more energy they spill, which just feeds the parasites like the captain. Absolute power isn't freedom. It's a self-tightening trap that not only strengthens your enemy, but creates brand new monsters out of the fallout. And that leaves us with one last question to chew on. In a universe built on these rules, where every single action creates an equal and opposite reaction, maybe the ultimate expression of power, the truest act of a god, isn't a loud declaration of "I am," but the quiet, profound wisdom of knowing when not to act at all. Maybe it's restraint,